Hello, I'm Andrew Pritchard, and thank you for watching today's Canada Regional Forecast, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. A snapshot look at the precipitation forecast here over the next 2 weeks, week 1 on the left, week 2 on the right. For the next week, keeping things pretty active across a big chunk of the Canadian prairies. Now, unfortunately, southern Alberta continues to look the driest out of the prairie region here, but now with the jet stream doing something kind of like this, keeping upper level support pretty strong through the region for almost daily chances for showers and storms across a big part of the region. Now, as we talk about week 2, we're going to be doing something a little bit more like this with the jet stream, being a ridge into the western part of the North American continent, having the jet stream dive south across the Midwestern United States in the form of northwest flow. And that's going to kind of shut things down a little bit across the Canadian prairies here, but keeping things near average with maybe some pockets of above average precipitation, but going to be kind of shifting the corridor now, doing something like this from parts of the prairie into the Midwest with this northwest flow regime. What that does to the temperatures here with troffiness over the Canadian prairies here, we're a little bit cooler over the next 5 days, but with building a ridge into the area here, again, kind of going to be doing something kind of weird with the jet stream here, but we're going to be bringing in some warmer temperatures here, especially in the July 22nd to the 26th time period, and also especially as you head off to the west. So Alberta going to be feeling the heat here as we head into the days 6 through 10 time period, more so than Saskatchewan and Manitoba, but definitely trending warmer overall, and we'll take a more in-depth look at that here over the next couple of minutes. Now, checking in with the satellite picture here, infrared satellite, so we're looking at the cloud top temperatures on Tuesday morning across the Canadian prairies. We're watching a bit of a system right here across southern Alberta that's going to be making its way off to the east over the next 24 to 48 hours. If we look underneath there, we do have some rain falling, some rain and some thunderstorms. Here is Calgary right here, and again, you can see the counterclockwise flow around this low pressure system here across southern Alberta. Now, far southern Alberta, really missing out again. Of course, some scattered showers moving through the area, but the heavier precipitation off to the north. And this is going to be a region that sees quite a bit of precipitation over the next week or so. We'll look at total amounts here in a couple of moments, but again, this is going to be the favored corridor for more significant precipitation across parts of Alberta. Now, the European model, we can kind of step through time with this one and watch what happens with not only this first storm system we're watching right now, but where we're headed over the days that follow that. We'll go ahead and start off now. Here is this little circulation across southern Alberta, this little area of low pressure. You can watch it track eastward now Tuesday afternoon, getting into Tuesday evening, watching for the development of thunderstorms, scattered thunderstorms across southern Alberta and southern Saskatchewan. There is a small risk of some severe storms associated with this, and we'll take a look at the map here in just a moment. We get into Wednesday, though. This continues to track off to the east now by Wednesday afternoon and evening, watching for thunderstorms to flare up now over southern Manitoba and southeastern, or I should say southern and eastern Saskatchewan, with some precipitation possible over the Front Range here in parts of Alberta. I'll take the drawings off, continuing now into Thursday, and this is really moving off to the east. Now we're seeing this intensify a bit more and more stronger circulation as this moves into parts of Ontario and eventually Quebec at the end of the week. But trailing behind it, we've still got a frontal boundary stalled out in the region. So while this moves out Thursday, now we're looking at Thursday afternoon and evening for some scattered showers and storms to develop from central Alberta across central Saskatchewan into central and perhaps southern Manitoba. Take the drawings off now. We're getting into the end of the week now, Friday. Still seeing this frontal boundary stalled across the region. Still seeing locally to isolated scattered showers and storms across, again, central Alberta, central Saskatchewan, central Manitoba. Really watching this region here, central portions of the of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba for these scattered showers and storms along this boundary here Thursday and Friday. And then as we get into the weekend, we'll go ahead and we'll take another look at that. But first, the severe weather outlook here, this would be for the day on Tuesday afternoon, evening, and overnight. Watching for perhaps scattered showers and storms developing along and ahead of that area of low pressure that's got right here. And underneath the upper level low, perhaps some funnel clouds here across parts of south central Alberta. And then further north, another area here watching for scattered strong to severe storms across north central Alberta, north of Edmonton, and east of Grand Prairie. So these are the two areas that we're watching. I think I'd be more concerned about this area here. But again, north central Alberta, a slight risk of maybe an isolated strong storm or two Tuesday afternoon and evening. Now here's what we see with the jet stream over the next week or so. We'll let this start playing and then I will click through time with it. Right now dealing with a trough over the region, and this reinforces as we get into the later part of the week. This is what keeps upper level support in the region along that stalled outflow or stalled frontal boundary, keeping the chance for scattered showers and storms across central portions of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba as we head into the late part of the week. Now, as we get into the weekend, into early next week, we're seeing a transformation now with a big ridge across the region. This is where that heat comes from, a more hot and dry pattern overall getting into early next week, bringing northwest flow back into parts of the Midwestern United States, keeping things there, or ushering back in an active period here. Of course, that's outside of the region that we're talking about here, but watching this transition here over the next 7 to 10 days from a more upper level support, a trough over the region, keeping things more stormy and active, but then transitioning to a very summer-like hot and drier pattern, it looks like, as we head into early next week at the very least. The precipitation forecast from the European model just taking it a step further than we did before. You can watch the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday storm system make its way from west to east right there. As we get into the weekend, we keep that trough in the region with that frontal boundary, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, still seeing chances for precipitation, especially in central portions of the provinces here. And then as we get into Sunday and Monday, building in high pressure across the region, and that's going to bring not a total end to the precipitation, but move us to a pattern where certainly the thunderstorm activity is much more widely isolated, more people remaining dry than are seeing precipitation as we get into the weekend and early next week. Taking a look at this with the instability forecast, we'll go ahead and we'll loop this out, and I'll show you what we're looking at over the next week or so. You can again watch kind of low-ish instability values along with this storm system this area of low pressure making its way from west to east here over the next couple of days. Wednesday afternoon, perhaps a strong storm or two across southern and eastern Saskatchewan, getting into southern Manitoba. Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening, this would be my area to watch for. Some severe storms Wednesday afternoon and evening, and then this gets out of here by the time we get to Thursday. But here you see at least meager instability values remaining along this frontal boundary, even as we get into the weekend, keeping the chance for some isolated showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. As we get into the back half of the weekend, though, we bring this area of high pressure into the region. We're going to start bringing that hot and humid air mass back into the region. Upper level support not quite as great as we get into early next week, but we will have to watch for the chance for, again, at least isolated to scattered severe storms as we get into early to mid next week with this much hotter and humid air mass kicking back into the region. Total precipitation forecast, or I guess we're looping out the 6-hour precipitation, and you can kind of see the pattern here. Again, focusing in on this corridor as we get into the later part of the week. We obviously have the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday storm system tracking through here, but then as we get into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, watching the central portions of the Canadian provinces here, of the Canadian prairies. Temperature anomalies, we can kind of take a look at what we've got going on here as we keep this cooler, not cold by any stretch of the imagination. It's July, so cooler temperature anomalies, not cold, but keeping things cooler overall as we head into the late part of the week. Before that ridge of high pressure, the jet stream does something more like this. We start to build some heat and humidity back into the region as we get into early to mid next week. This would be starting around, this is the weekend, keeping things cooler, but then we get into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week, really going to be turning the thermostat up across the Canadian prairies. Here's the total precipitation forecast then through Sunday, and again, really focusing in on this corridor. This, of course, across southern regions, this is going to be more with that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday storm system tracking across the region. And then as we talk about this more exaggerated corridor, this is that frontal boundary stalled out across the region here, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, looking at the daily chances for isolated scattered showers and storms across this frontal boundary as we head through the rest of the week. Focusing in now on Alberta, we'll just go ahead and we'll loop the precipitation forecast. You can see these almost daily chances for precipitation stacking up across the region. We'll pause it once we get to the end here. Again, far southern portions of Alberta probably going to remain mostly dry here. Not completely out of the question. We don't see a scattered shower or storm make its way through the region, but you really can see the more favored zone here across central portions of Alberta as we go through the next week, with anywhere from 30 to upwards of 100 millimeters of precipitation and some of the higher amounts as we go through the next week. High temperatures for the next 5 days in the mid to upper teens on Tuesday. Wednesday, warmer in the mid to lower 20s. Cooling off again on Thursday, Friday, and then finishing with your Saturday. High temperatures will start rebounding. This is when the heat starts to kick back in, especially back half of the weekend into early next week. Pivoting off to the east, looking at Saskatchewan and Manitoba now. Again, scattered in nature as we talk about these showers and storms, especially early in the week. Let's go ahead and we'll start over. This Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday storm system makes its way through. This would be the scattered showers and storms from that across central and southern Manitoba, and then portions of south central Saskatchewan through Thursday morning. This is our total precipitation forecast. And then with that frontal boundary stalled across the region, continuing to stack things up here Thursday, Friday, and Saturday across central portions of Alberta and Saskatchewan. High temperatures for the next 5 days, lower to middle 20s for the day on Tuesday, similar for the day on Wednesday. On Thursday, here is the frontal boundary here, so cooler where we've got rain and cloud cover off to the south. High temperatures in the upper 20s for the day Thursday. And here is Friday. We'll finish off with Saturday with temperatures in the very close to 20 degrees, warmer off to the south. But again, this is when we're going to start warming things back up, so it does warm up from here, headed for a very warm next week. As always, Eric Snodgrass will have an in-depth look at the evolution of the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Thursday morning ag forecast video, and I'll check in with your next Canadian regional forecast for you right here on Friday. Have a great day.